Hello, in this clip we will talk about Donald John Trump. Donald John Trump, born June 14, 1946, Queens, New York, USA, is an American businessman and politician who served as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021. Before entering the politics, was a businessman and television personality. Born and raised in Queens, New York, Trump attended Fordham University for 2 years and received a bachelor's degree in economics from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. He became chairman of his father Fred Trump's real estate business in 1971, which he renamed the Trump Organization, and expanded its operations to building or renovating skyscrapers, hotels, casinos and golf courses. Trump later began various side projects, notably licensing his name. Trump and his businesses have been involved in more than 4,000 state and federal lawsuits, including 6 bankruptcies. He owned the Miss Universe beauty pageant brand from 1996 to 2015 and produced and hosted the reality television series The Apprentice from 2004 to 2015. Trump's policy positions have been described as populist, protectionist, isolationist, and nationalist. He entered the 2016 presidential race as the Republican nominee, and was elected in a surprise electoral college victory over Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton while losing the popular vote. He became the first American president without military or political experience. His election and policies have sparked numerous protests. Trump has made many false and misleading statements during his campaigns and presidency, to an extent unprecedented in American politics. Many of his comments and actions have been characterized as racist, misogynistic, ableist, or homophobic. During his presidency, Trump ordered the entry of citizens of several Muslim-majority countries into the U.S., citing security concerns. After legal challenges, the Supreme Court upheld the third review of the policy. He passed a package of tax cuts for individuals and businesses, repealing the Affordable Care Act's (ACA) individual health insurance mandate penalty, but failed to repeal and replace the ACA as a whole. He appointed Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. In foreign policy, Trump pursued the America First agenda, the renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, as the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, and the withdrawal of the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade negotiations, the Paris Agreement on Change's Climate, UNESCO, and the Iran nuclear deal. He imposed import tariffs that sparked a trade war with China, moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and withdrew U.S. troops from northern Syria and Iraq. He met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times, but denuclearization talks broke down in 2019. On the night of October 26 to 27, 2019, following a raid in northwest Syria by Special Forces Americans at Trump's command, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi detonated his explosive vest that he was wearing. On January 3, 2020, Trump ordered the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, which prompted Iran to retaliate by attacking U.S. bases in Iraq. He has been slow to react to the COVID-19 pandemic, downplayed the threat, ignored or contradicted many recommendations from health officials, and promoted false information about unproven treatments and the availability of testing. A special counsel investigation led by Robert Mueller found that Trump and his campaign benefited from Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, but did not find enough evidence to press charges of criminal conspiracy or coordination with Russia. Mueller also investigated Trump for obstruction of justice, and his report neither charged nor exonerated Trump of that crime. Trump later pardoned 5 people who were convicted as a result of the Russia investigation. After Trump asked Ukraine to investigate his political rival Joe Biden, the House of Representatives impeached him in December 2019 for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The majority Republican-controlled Senate acquitted him of both charges in February 2020. Trump lost the 2020 presidential election to Biden, but refused to concede defeat. He made unsubstantiated allegations of voter fraud, pressured government officials, launched a series of unsuccessful legal challenges to try to overturn the results, and ordered his administration not to cooperate in the presidential transition. Trump's allies in Congress have indicated they will object to congressional certification of the results. Pitts, January 6, 2021. On that day, pro-Trump protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol building at Trump's instigation, disrupting the certification of the presidential election, leading to the evacuation of Congress. General data. Donald Trump was born and raised in New York City, the 4th of 5 children of real estate magnate Frederick Trump. In 1968, Donald Trump earned a bachelor's degree in economics from the Wharton School of Finance and Commerce at the University of Pennsylvania. In 1971, succeeding his father Fred Trump, he took control of the Trump Organization, Trump Organization, a parent holding company that owns the shares of several real estate and construction companies. Donald Trump founded Trump Entertainment Resorts in 1995, a company that operates numerous casinos and hotels around the world. Throughout his business career, Trump has built office towers, hotels, casinos, golf courses and other landmark buildings around the world. Trump hosted the Miss USA beauty pageant from 1996 to 2015 and has had small cameo roles in films and television series. In 2004-2015, Trump was the host and co-producer of the NBC reality TV series The Apprentice. Over the past 30 years, Trump and his businesses have been involved in 3,500 lawsuits in U.S. courts, with an estimated fortune of around $3.7 billion as of October 2016. Donald Trump was listed in 2016 by Forbes magazine as the 324th richest person in the world, and 156th in the United States. Donald Trump has 5 children from 3 marriages. His first wife, Ivana Zelníková, originally from Czechoslovakia, known as a model and actress, gave him 3 children: Donald Jr., b. 1977, Ivanka, b. 1981, and Eric, b. 1984. All 3 are now executive directors of the Trump Organization. The second wife, Marla Maples, a well-known figure in the social world, being an actress and television personality, gave him another daughter, Tiffany. Current wife Melania Nos, originally from Slovenia, is a jewelry and watch designer and former model. With her, Trump has a son, Barron Trump, b. 2006. His nomination as president of the USA. Donald Trump tried to win the presidential nomination as a member of the Reform Party in 2000. But withdrew before voting began. In June 2015, Trump announced his candidacy for the U.S. presidency as a member of the Republican Party, and quickly became the frontrunner for the party's nomination. In May 2016, his remaining Republican rivals in the race for the White House suspended their campaigns, and in July he was formally nominated as the candidate for the presidential race. At the 2016 Republican National Convention, Trump's campaign received unprecedented media coverage and increased international attention. Many of his statements and interviews, on Twitter, and at election rallies have been controversial or false. Several rallies during the primary election were accompanied by protests. On October 7, 2016, an audio recording from 2005 was released in which Trump boasted that he had kissed and groped several women, who allowed him to do so because he was famous. Several women accused him of similar behavior shortly thereafter. He apologized for the 2005 comments and denied the allegations, describing them as part of a broad smear campaign. A special case. Far from the usual profile of Republican Party candidates, Donald Trump represents a special case in American political history. Trump's election platform included renegotiating trade agreements between the U.S. and China, opposition to certain free trade agreements such as NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, and the Trans-Pacific Partnership, normalizing relations with Russia, reducing the U.S. role in NATO, the U.S. move towards energy independence using all energy sources, and opposition to climate change regulations such as the Clean Power Plan promulgated by U.S. President Barack Obama's administration, and U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Agreement on climate change. Stricter enforcement of immigration laws, deporting 2-3 million illegal immigrants, building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, repealing the new American school curriculum called Common Core State Education Standards, Common Core State Standards, Veterans Welfare, and Health Care Reform, the repeal and replacement of Barack Obama's Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, investments in the country's infrastructure, a simplified tax code and tax cuts. After the terrorist attacks in Paris in November 2015, Trump called for a temporary halt to IAF Muslim migration to the U.S., later saying the ban would only apply to countries with a proven history of terrorism, until better identification of potential terrorists. Some of Trump's statements during the election campaign caused concern in the European Union and in several states of the world. Childhood and youth, parents and grandparents. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in the Jamaica borough of Queens, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. Donald's parents, Fred and Mary, had 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls, of whom Donald was the 4th. Marianne, born 1937. Fred Jr. or Fred Jr., born 1938, Elizabeth, born 1942, Donald, born 1946, and Robert, born 1948. Donald's older brother Fred Jr. died in 1981, at the age of 43 from alcoholism. This tragic event caused Donald to avoid ever trying alcohol or smoking. Donald Trump is of German descent on his father's side, and Scottish descent on his mother's side. Donald's grandparents were born in Europe. My maternal grandfather was a fisherman, and my paternal grandfather, born in Bavaria, was an apprentice barber in a small barbershop in Germany before coming to America, where he became a restaurant owner and investor. His father, Fred Trump, 1905–1999, was born in Queens to Karlstadt, Germany, and became one of the largest real estate developers in New York City and the U.S. East Coast. Donald Trump's mother, Marion Trump, née MacLeod, 1912–2000, was born in Scotland, in the village of Tong, on the Isle of Lewis, and came to the U.S. in 1930 at the age of 18. Fred and Mary met in New York and married in 1936, settling together in Queens. In the book entitled The Trump Phenomenon, Romanian writer Mihai Neamu supports the importance of the informal education young Donald received in the family. On the maternal line, the Scottish ethos handed him the dream of financial independence. On the paternal line, German culture transmitted to him the cult of work and the belief in a job well done. His uncle John G. Trump, a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, from 1936 to 1973, was involved in military research, including the development of radar for the Allies in World War II. He also participated in the design of the first X-ray generators used in radiation therapy that increased the life expectancy of cancer patients. And in 1943, the Federal Bureau of Investigation asked him to examine Nikola Tesla's papers and equipment after his death in a room in the New Yorker hotel. Donald's grandfather was Friedrich Trump, who immigrated to the United States in 1885 and changed his name to Frederick Trump. He made his fortune during the American Gold Rush by owning restaurants and hotels in prosperous towns and boarding houses such as those in the Seattle area, United States, and the Klondike region, Canada. After his death, his wife Elizabeth and their son Fred took over the business as Elizabeth Trump and Son. While Donald's grandfather started the family business, his father Fred was a real estate mogul in New York and amassed a huge family fortune that he passed on to his son. Donald Trump said he was proud of his German heritage. He served as Grand Marshal in the 1999 Steuben German-American Parade in New York City. Drumpf, the family's ancestral name, changed to Trump during the 30 Years' War in the 17th century. Donald Trump has always been unaware of his German ancestry, believing for a while that he is Swedish, as his father apparently hid his origin due to the rise of Nazism in Germany, which created a bad image for Germans in the U.S. German media reported that some residents of Karlstadt are ashamed of their association with Trump, and the owners of the house where his grandfather Frederick Trump lived in his early years have put the property up for sale, preferring to move somewhere where they will no longer be harassed by the media in their own home after the election of Donald Trump as president. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. I believe and I am 100% sure that you understood everything I talked about in this clip. If this clip helped you, help others further by sharing this clip. Press a like and subscribe if you haven't already.